Hi, Aidan. Look at this massive spread I did for you. I was just trying to read into the cards and get a good sense of the energies involved and how I can hopefully help illuminate some things for you in love, specifically with your relationship ending and or going through a difficult time. See if I can help you kind of figure things out. I'm cold. I tried to turn my heater off because otherwise it's too loud. My girlfriend stand up. No. There. Okay. So I started with, on one side, your energy. On the other side, I have Alfie's energy. And then in between is kind of the interaction between the two of you and kind of what's going on in the relationship. And the influence you're having on one another through this experience. So I'll start with your energy. And I got the hawk and the wise one, which is also about tradition and order. And I feel like these cards are saying to me, like, you're a very intelligent and perceptive person. You see things from a higher perspective, like a hawk. You can like have like crazy vision from way up high to catch their prey, and they're very wise, and have lived many lives and appreciate the value of stability and order and kind of a set routine or regimen to maintain peace and ease of mind. And that comes from your keen insight and just high level of intelligence. I can also see I got two cards here that are about loyalty. So we got the dog, the loyal dog, and we got it's like a rune deck that I just got, which is Signin, which is also about loyalty. And she basically sacrifices herself to care for her lover, and hold a bowl for his like blood or something as he kind of disintegrates because she loves him so much. I also got the card responsibility. So I feel like there's been a lot of loyalty and love on your part, but also a sense of responsibility to care for Elfie, and a real sense of responsibility to take care of her and help her heal, and really understand her on a deeper level, and just a lot of commitment to your connection, and it's putting a lot on your shoulders. A lot of I got the Six of Pentacles, which is about giving and receiving equally, which was in reverse. So I get the sense that maybe you've been giving more than you've been receiving back from the relationship, and over prioritizing her needs over your own, and kind of taking a back seat in really like the two-way flow of love and abundance, and just allowing things to not bother you, because you are a very lighthearted and caring person, but there could be things happening that are taking away from your energy, and there is a sense of injustice that comes up later here twice. I feel like you're expecting this Ten of Cups energy, which is like the beautiful celebration of love and stability and community and just like pure bliss in the emotional space from having people around you that love you and um, just that real sense of connection to the world around you. Um, but it's in reverse, so I think that there's something that you're struggling with there to fully connect, but it's what you're seeking, and this lack of a two-way flow of abundance, this kind of disconnect between giving and receiving, of like yin and yang, is preventing you from really achieving um, this destiny that you desire of having this beautiful um, life with full of connection and love and community and like a soulmate. Um, these are these inner child cards that I got, and it says it's about integration for you. That there's some parts of yourself that are still needing to be kind of weaved together, coming from childhood, and um, there may be some introspection to be done on, where you might not be seeing things clearly, or what experiences you've had that you still haven't really dealt with the fallout from, and learning to integrate those into your current worldview and beliefs and feelings about yourself, and just healing some wounds and um, things that you don't fully understand about the way that you operate in the world. Sometimes there's some knowledge to be gained from just working on um, kind of analyzing your self as a whole, and if you're acting holistically, or if there's pieces of you that kind of don't fit with your plan for your life, and what those pieces are, and what you need to do to heal or mend them, or just change your lifestyle or behaviors to kind of be a more wholesome, um, connected to your spirit. Um, and I think that some of this responsibility and loyalty, um, as well as the tradition and order of desiring kind of the relationship that you desire, has kind of splintered you a little bit from the wholeness of yourself from when you were single. And um, sometimes when we get involved with another person, we kind of start weaving ourselves together, and you tend to sometimes lose little parts of your individuality when you become a couple, because um, you kind of start to blend into one a little bit. And I think there's some work to be done to kind of bring back those pieces that maybe you have lost along the way with just falling in love and bringing this person into your life, and the accommodations maybe that you've made to make them happy that aren't necessarily benefiting you. I got the card intersection. So you're at intersection point, which speaks about where you've come from and where you are now, and it's time to make a choice and know. It says, and how what you want exactly. So really considering what it is you do want, and what you deserve and what you need in a partner, and you know having those boxes for like, this is what I require in order to be made happy and feel that deep connection with somebody and feel fulfilled, and just really considering what it is that you truly want to see and to feel in love, and if this is the correct connection for you to be able to experience that, or if there is a disconnect somewhere where maybe it is better to move on to a new chapter. And so for Elfie, I got Invisible Outlaw. I got Power. And being out of ideas is just another idea. And I feel like she's a bit of an invisible outlaw. Like there's some sides of her that are a little bit hidden, where she's kind of a rebel at times, and doesn't always let that show at the surface. Takes a bit of time to get to know this side of her, which can be a bit impulsive, and the fact that we're seeing the Power card show up could indicate she has some unrooted energy regarding power and control, and that could be a reason for the drug use, as well as being out of ideas is just another idea. Like sometimes I find when I'm out of ideas or lacking inspiration, it's like drugs are the thing that I reach to kind of bring me that sense of power and control in my life. And that could be, some of the root of the issues she's been having with drugs, is just feeling ungrounded and not being able to ground her power in like a healthy way, to express herself into the world, and getting a bit of frustration with lacking that kind of connection to the earth and to her own sense of personal power and personal restraint as well. We got the Elephant, which speaks about like a large obstacle. But elephants are also quite sweet and gentle animals, but they're not to be ignored. It made me kind of think of the elephant in the room, maybe something that's not being addressed fully. There's a lack of communication around this, something kind of in the shadows. With the Vengeance card here in reverse, there could be some trauma from her past, that she still has some resentment and like rage towards maybe how people have treated her in the past, or some injustices from her past that are not yet healed. And so with the Witch, which is about kind of rebellion and experimentation, I think that could be a reason why she's kind of moving towards drugs as a solution to kind of mask this trauma and this like ungrounded sense of power, and a feeling of emptiness, inspirationally, and creatively, that's kind of turned into this elephant in the room that's a big obstacle for her to overcome, finding new ways to get that sense of power and control back without the use of drugs, to mask those feelings of lack. I got the Badger, which is healing wounds. So I think she is in a process of healing right now, and really kind of considering the path that she's on, because I also got the Erd, which is a Norse god, I suppose, about the present moment and weaving the fates. So this character is holding a string in her hand of the path that she's on, and she's in the moment of making a decision about what path to follow, and how to actually weave this tapestry of her life. And it's a real moment of pause and consideration of what she really wants, and what direction she wants to move into, and what she's willing to lose or gain, in order to reach that goal or that desired outcome. And I think part of that reflection is healing some wounds inside of her, maybe some of this trauma from the past that's led her to use is being kind of brought up now to look at, and she's kind of becoming more self-aware about maybe the reasons why she's acting the way that she is. I also got Forseti, which is fairness and judgment. And I think that there's a decision for her to be made here about, what's fair and what is, a fair way of treating people, and did she make the right decision? I think thinking a lot about whether she made a mistake or the choices she made were unjust or unfair towards others, and really thinking about the thread that she's holding right now and whether that is, really the direction that she wants to go in, and what the implications of that are, and whether that is going to be a justice or an injustice towards her higher self's, alignment and goals. I've already forgotten what this card is about. Just give me 1 second. So, close around here, 7 of Pentacles. Oh, it's late. It's past the witching hour. Oh yeah, so I think there's some insecurity here about finding a true home and a soul connection. She doesn't feel fully comfortable with vulnerability and opening up fully and letting this side of herself that's kind of hidden in the shadows out to light. So she feels the need to protect herself from being hurt, probably because of past hurts and past injustices that have happened to her. That's led her to be a little bit guarded, particularly with the Four of Wands, which is about kind of coming home to, from a journey to family and love and a sense of home, and a celebration of a return to generally people that are in your soul cluster that you have known from past lives, and kind of a reunition with them that's a really beautiful return to this genuine sense of home and love. But I think there's some resistance to really opening up to that fully, and I think there's some fear involved there. But I think that this healing process that she's going through is ultimately going to benefit her. With this card, it's for happiness of the ladybug. Ladybugs come out in the springtime, and they're just little joyful little creatures that help the garden. And I think a lot of this struggle that she's going through right now is kind of an internal battle with her own shadow, and some wounding from the past that is now starting to heal. And she's considering kind of, the choices she's making, and whether it's really the right choice or not. And I think she's having some doubts about what truly makes her happy, and what path is the right path to really bring her to true happiness. Because so far she has been a little bit afraid to open up to this really deep sense of love and connection, and just the sense of family in a way, of someone who's really there for you and supports you unconditionally. I think she's a little bit afraid of that, afraid of not meeting those expectations because of her wounding, and maybe feeling a bit insecure on a deeper level about what she deserves and what she's worthy of. for the connection between you guys, I got 2 cards basically about completion, which is the world, and Comfrey, which is also about completion of a cycle. So this is a completion of a cycle. It doesn't necessarily mean like it's, so the other one come up too, it's over. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the end. It's just the end of this cycle, of this phase that you've been in. There are still unresolved issues, but there's been a growth process that has completed, and on both ends, I think that the impact you've had on each other has really taught one another lessons that have kind of closed cycles for them, particularly karmic cycles, because we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, kind of indicating poor timing or bad luck, but it's fated based on karma. These things are inevitable to happen because of, just the past and how things have played out in the past, and like trauma and wounding, and just the way people are built with their karma. And there's a sense of injustice as well. It's not quite fair what's gone down. And that really just comes down to like a karmic debt and karmic cycle that is playing out, that's causing disalignment with like true destiny. And I think that piece of the cycle is completing this kind of unlucky, unfair disconnect between the two of you. I got kind of the purpose of the connection being the quest, which I want to read again. I've already forgotten what it said. I think there's a lot for you to teach each other through this connection. Life requires courage. From the moment we take our first breath until we release our last, to be alive is to be vulnerable and experience times of trial. Courage exists in the smallest moments, when we take a breath instead of lashing out at a loved one, when we give ourselves selflessly, when we stand against injustice, when we love and open our hearts, exposing what is most tender. This card invites you to call on your courage and take a fresh look at your life quest. What is your creative vision for the earth and our global community? What dreams did you hold as a child for our world? This sacred calling holds a clue to your creative purpose and destiny in this lifetime. There are no contributions too small. Each action performed with love and kindness is a sacred contribution to our planet. This card is here to remind you that what you do matters, not to put any pressure on your adult shoulders, but each choice you make is important in your collective. So, as long as you're putting out good vibes into the world and expressing love and gratitude and kindness, like that is your quest on this earth, to kind of bring that light to other people. And I think, part of this could be helping illuminate some of these shadows for her. And again, it's not your responsibility, but you're very loyal and very caring. So, and you have so much wisdom to share that I feel like, part of the connection between you guys has been, bringing light into each other's lives in a complementary way, and, finding bringing out each other's creative drives and inspiration in one another, as part of a little quest that you're both on to self-actualization. I got surrender and careful. So not take things too intensely at this time, to just kind of surrender to the situation and let things work itself out in its own time, and don't rush the situation. If it is meant to be, it'll come back to you in time, maybe when some healing has taken place. I received this card, which is After the Rain, which says, silver lining, hope, it's over, mercy. There's something very special and sacred about the moment after it stops raining. The atmosphere has released all it was holding, and in turn the earth has been cleansed, replenished, and nourished. It's a similar feeling to the moment after we stop crying. As those salty healing tears fall, they activate oxytocin and endorphins, which create a shift in how we feel. What was once an overwhelming now seems possible, and while we may not know it consciously, noticeable growth will soon follow. After the Rain is all about hope, healing, beginnings, and endings. Emotions are soothed, broken hearts are on the mend, times of trial are over, mercy can be felt, there's a moment of relief, a new encouraging silver lining can be made out in the distance. What's been challenging or difficult is about to ease up. If you've been going through a challenging time, this card is here to reassure you that the things are about to ease. You've been through the worst of it, and new hope is here. These past weeks, months, or even years haven't been straightforward. They've likely asked you to dig deep and endure hardships that have tested you. But now, at long last, there are smooth seas ahead. What you've learned and how you've grown can never be taken away from you. And now it's time to enjoy the warmth of the blessings that life has in store for you. Glorious new beginnings are possible. What are you ready to release? And I think with the surrender card here, I think there's a real focus on just letting go of the situation and not trying to control it too much or push too hard to bring something back that maybe it's not time for. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the end, but some separation may be required in order for this healing to take place on both of your sides, but I think particularly on Elfie's side, she's got a lot more complexity going on in kind of her healing space, it seems. A lot more shadow work to be done, and just making some bigger decisions about the direction she's taking in life, and letting her guard down and really accepting love, which seems to be a lot easier for you. Your problem more is responsibility and loyalty, and giving too much. As a wise and intelligent soul, you want to be at service to as many people as you can and help people find the light within them. And sometimes there's only so much we can do for another person, and some of the healing that needs to take place in order for a relationship to proceed needs to happen separately, because self-love is something that really can only be learned on your own. When you don't have somebody to rely on to love you, you have to learn to love yourself and let go of some of the desire to control and use your power to seek approval from others to kind of cover up wounds from the past that have left you with kind of resentment or anger. And I can tell she's a very creative person, but maybe has this outlaw rebellious side that's which I can relate to a lot. That can be self-sabotaging, and it's really a moment for her to reassess kind of what her priorities are and what path is going to be for her highest good, and what is just to others and just to herself, in terms of fairness and integrity, and really what's going to make her more happy in the long run. So I think she's going through that right now, of kind of reconsidering some of the decisions she's making and whether she wants to continue to follow that line or switch up to a new design for her life, and kind of let her guard down to really let in the love that she deserves. And there's a spark of creativity here, that I think can be, I find for me when I'm lacking inspiration, I turn to drugs. But sometimes when I notice in the mental hospital, like, you just have to get so bored that you discover like talents you didn't even know you had because there's nothing else to do. You have to actually use your creativity to come up with things to keep you busy. And in the absence of drugs, like, there is so much potential for creative discovery and a new way of coping with some of these shadow aspects that are still needing to be healed within us through creativity and self-expression. So yeah, we talked about completion. We've also got the weaver, which kind of is similar to the Erd with holding the thread of the weave, but this one speaks mostly about communication and whether true communication is taking place or if there's a block in the communication between two people. And I get the sense that there is a bit of a disconnect here, with vulnerability. On your side, I feel like your energy is very open and very vulnerable, and offering open wisdom to others to try to help them live a better life. Whereas on her side, there's some resistance to being fully vulnerable and a desire to protect herself and her feelings, and maybe some shame in some of the darker aspects of her shadow for things she's done in the past, or just perceived flaws in her self that she's not ready for other people to quite see yet. And I think that using drugs is a way of coping with that discomfort, when you feel like you're not truly accepted or you can't feel truly safe to be vulnerable without a substance to kind of open you up to that. We also have good night. Also, you didn't get enough done today. And still not failing enough. So, for me, these cards are saying, don't be too hard on yourself. I feel like you're really, you're going through a lot and you're really trying your best to overcome this emotional time, as well as, deal with your other aspects of your life. And to just be proud of yourself for the little accomplishments that you make. And even just, being like, I was a little bit less sad today about this, and that's progress. And that's good enough for me. I have some great little pieces of artwork I could send you that are inspirational on that line. And then also still not failing enough. I don't think it's too late for you guys. Like, there's some stuff burning down, like some disaster happening for sure, but it's still not enough to completely destroy everything. And this card kind of speaks about taking risks and trying something new, and like, the act of invention is very a lot of failure before you create something amazing, and you have to fail a million times before you are successful in your creation and innovation. And if you're not failing enough, then you're not trying hard enough. So don't take it as a sign that it's completed, it's over, like that's the end of that. I think there's just some work that needs to be done potentially separately, and in time you may come back together and find yourselves to be much more compatible after this period of separate healing. Okay, just a few more. So the Three of Cups, which is about friendship and togetherness, but also can be about a love triangle and injustice. Again, I think that, potentially, I know that she's poly and has some other stuff going on. I feel like she has a resistance to fully committing to one person because of a bit of a insecurity with vulnerability, and it is unfair to you because I feel like you're ready to give her your whole heart, and you're not receiving back that same level of commitment and like reassurance that she loves you as much as you love her. And I think there's a lack of feeling supported emotionally by the connection, which is due to an imbalance in giving and receiving, because she has a block in her ability to fully connect and be vulnerable and be open, and is in denial about some things, I think, and how her actions affect other people. Because it's something that is difficult to look at and, easier to kind of fly by the wind and just go with what feels right. But at the end of the day, it's important to have empathy for other people and really consider their feelings and their perspective so that they feel secure and they feel happy. And it's not all just about our own journey, but about the effects that we have on other people, and how we're influencing their life, whether it's positively or negatively, and how we affect their energy. Are we boosting them up and bringing them light, or are we draining their energy from our own bullshit? And I think, this lack of communication fully is leaving you behind in the dust a little bit, with not fully knowing what's going on or how you can help resolve the situation or move forward in this relationship, because she's a bit blocked emotionally from opening up and making those commitments to, a real deep, true love connection out of fear. And the fact that justice showed up twice means the scales will tip. Like, there is a karmic imbalance happening here, and there will be a justice served. It's just right now, in this period of this process, there's a reason why there's some inequality in the experience you guys are having, and I think it's because there's more growth that needs to be done on both sides. And once that is done, once those wounds are healed more fully, the scales of justice can be reset to benefit both parties equally, or at least just have a wonderful friendship, if not love, if that's not in the cards for you, to get to experience a supportive, loving connection for life, like an unconditional love, regardless of, these other struggles or shadow aspects that may be preventing like a healthy relationship. there will be justice and friendship and care for one each other ultimately. And finally, I got the raccoon, which is curiosity, and the hare and oak, which is new opportunities. So being open to new opportunities and having some curiosity about what else you can do with this time, and how you can focus on yourself to grow, and look at maybe how you may have been blinded by your own loyalty and love to some of the troubles and negative impacts this relationship may have had on you, and just getting curious about what a new opportunity would look like, whether that's kind of rekindling something with Elfie, or if maybe there is another person out there that's going to be more compatible, that is able to like open up and have this wise intelligence that you have, and this transparency, and loyalty, and just like dedication to the person that you love. Is that something that she can really give you? Or is it something that she can heal and move past from? Or is this something that, is always going to be causing a wedge in the relationship? So really starting to kind of reflect back on your experiences and look at them from a new perspective now that you've completed this cycle. Whether things have been in alignment, or if perhaps you've been too giving or too accommodating, or just not prioritizing your own needs. And this is a new opportunity for you to build some more kind of self-love and boundaries around what you deserve and what you expect in a partner, and what you're okay with, and where you're making concessions and serving other people's desires that don't serve you, because everyone deserves a love where they feel like they are, the one and only special person in somebody's life that, they worship in a way, like think that they're so amazing and special and perfect that you don't need anybody else. I think that's really beautiful. Even though I have some weird stances on monogamy versus polyamory. I do believe in polyamory, but I also think that it can stem from trauma and an inability to commit, because it's too scary to let people in so deeply that you form a bond that is beyond what you can have with more than one person. It adds this level of superficiality to the relationship, where you can't quite get as close because there's other people involved that have different relationships with this person, and it's hard to know kind of where you stand, and whether you're getting the love that really is going to fulfill you or not, or if you just feel like one of many. I think it's a difficult thing to overcome. It takes a lot of maturity, and I think it can come from a place of wounding as well. I'm just going to pull a couple more here. This is probably already really long. It's really late. I should go to bed. Let's see from my homemade deck what we get. Yeah, it's going to take some time. You've been working hard to kind of create this love that is in alignment with the universe, like the celestial realms. And there is a big harvest to come, but it's going to take some work. It's not going to happen overnight, and it will happen in divine timing. And divine timing doesn't give a fuck about our timeline. So I think just continuing to, shine your light and put in the work on yourself, and find things that light you up and inspire you creatively, and really just building something that you're proud of, that'll sustain you. And when the time is right, love will return to you, because you deserve it and you attract it with your energy. Got attitude is everything. So maintaining a positive attitude, and it's trying to see the bright side and having a healthy eyesight about the blessings you have in your life. And again, another little ladybug with the happiness. It's finding those small joys in life and not getting too bogged down by what is lacking, but seeing potential for the future, and just seeing this as a time of transition and growth. And sometimes true love does require space so that people can grow enough to be able to actually be together, because some wounds you can't heal when you're in a relationship with somebody. It's something that is really personal to you, that requires isolation to overcome. So just maintaining a positive attitude and finding gratitude every day. And it says, delight lovely, show your love with some flowers. So finding a way to express your love creatively. Maybe if you're thinking about her and want to bring light to her day, that may be a good suggestion, without being too forceful. Again, like, the advice is to be careful and to surrender and kind of give her space, but that doesn't mean you can't show up and be sweet and give from a place of generosity and just sweetness that doesn't require anything in return, but just to bring a smile to somebody's face. And the moment you've been waiting for is coming. Have faith that this quest you've been on to self-actualization is going to produce a moment of, pure bliss. And it's funny because it also has this girl walking over a pill like a bridge. Sometimes drugs can be a crutch for people to get to this place of this moment of bliss and satisfaction, and to have empathy for that struggle, because it really does come from a place of wounding, and the drug of choice tends to be to mask something that's lacking in their life. And recognizing what that is and working on how to provide that for yourself without the use of drugs is really what's going to bring you the ultimate joy and connection to life, and a lovely, delightful love that makes you feel fulfilled and like magical and in the moment, and just feel that sense of love from another person. I see that in your relationship together. But yeah, there's definitely this chick walking on the pill just to try and get through. And I relate to it a lot because I've struggled with drug addiction a lot in my life, and it's definitely gotten in the way of my relationships several times. And, you know, it's important to have compassion, but also to have boundaries and draw the line, because if somebody doesn't call you out on your shit, then who will? The people who really love you are the ones that are looking out for you, and you should never feel bad about that, even if it causes conflict. Sometimes conflict can be the most healing thing for somebody, because it really makes them think about their choices and about the path that they're on and whether it's serving them or not. So I think that this is an omen that there's still potential for this energy to return with lovely delight of love and a moment of joy together. And it may require some work on the drug space, or at least just finding the right drug that doesn't cause the effects that it sounded like she was experiencing that were negative, or just kind of getting out of hand. You know, drugs are good for certain things, and maybe she just needs to experiment with some other healthier, like your mushroom pills or whatever, something that's going to be more sustainable, just to try and put an effort into kind of staying more level-headed and more grounded and stable, and not impacting others with her drug usage. That's when you really know you have a problem, is when you're bringing other people down because they're concerned about you. But I know you still love her, and I think that you should show your love and, you know, accept her for who she is, and just encourage her healing process, and let her know that she has lots of time to figure things out on her own, and if she ever is ready to rekindle things, to reach out. But I would kind of give her put the ball in her court to take care of herself first, and, you know, when she feels healed enough on the inside with some of the things that she's struggling with in her shadow, that is causing her to use drugs, you know, when she feels like she's in a better place with that, when those wounds are healed, and there's that spark of happiness again, and that ability to kind of open up and be honest about how she feels, there's a real potential for a beautiful kind of coming together, the Four of Cups here, like a rekindling of soul, like love, and finding a home in another person. And she's powerful, so she has the ability to do this, and it's something that's on her mind right now. And she recognizes that it's a big obstacle, so I think that I don't think it's something she takes lightly, and I think that she is working on it. So just being patient and, you know, thinking about what you need in the meantime, and what changes you really like to see in order to feel able to rekindle something with her, and something that's going to lift your vibe, give you a positive attitude, that's going to light you up and make you happy. So that's the most important thing. So this is like a time of real like healing, and there's hope. There's definitely hope here. Like you're on a quest together to better yourselves and to share love with one another. But, you know, there's been some injustice with I think lack of exclusivity and like support network, of true like vulnerable support, and like real communication about things that are uncomfortable. And I think that stems from her own wounding and shadow. And I think she's because of you recognizing how this is impacting her life, and allowing her to consider, like, is this really the path I want to take? Is this really what's going to make me happy? And maybe I should let people in and, stop using these impulsive mechanisms to mask these underlying pains and wounds and insecurities that make her feel like she's not good enough. So I got multiple perspectives and wild. There's a wildness to her, I can tell. And I think that it's a complex situation because there are multiple perspectives and no perspective is the correct one. Everyone has their own experience in this, and sometimes it's hard to see eye to eye without having really vulnerable, clear communication with one another, and embracing your wild side and the outlaw in you. I think that she seems like she's good at. And I think for you, maybe that's a bit more challenging because you prefer more tradition and order and stability. So I think it's a lot of adjusting to each other's idiosyncrasies and, like, kind of what you need to see in a connection that's really going to fulfill you. And finally, boundaries. It's a big one. I think something to think about on both sides is, where your boundaries are. When are you giving too much? When are you receiving too much? Like emotionally, like financially, with your time, with what you're comfortable with. Just being really clear on what you need in order to care for yourself and put yourself first in situations rather than putting your partner first and sacrificing your own autonomy, finding more of your wild side, and also having some structure with boundaries and not pretending like things are okay when they don't feel okay, but really being honest about what your perspective is and understanding that it may be different from the other person's perspective, and that's okay. They can both be true at the same time. But when you have open, vulnerable communication, you can work through these things and find a common ground to work together to overcome these challenges. So this is a new opportunity to move forward. This cycle is closed now of kind of what you guys were working through before. And that doesn't mean that it's over forever. It just means that that period and that lesson has been completed. So there is a new beginning, like this card says. After the rain, silver lining, hope. It's over. Mercy. The worst part is over. So you've gained a lot of strength and wisdom through this experience, and there's a lot of hope for the future still, and a lot to learn from this. And I hope that you guys do find a way to reconnect on an honest and open, transparent level, so you can both mutually heal from this experience. but I'm just going on and on. So, again, last one, self-love. I think it's a period of self-love, and that's kind of your quest right now, is to focus on, what it is you love about this other person. Boom, that's what you love about yourself. And direct that love inward towards yourself and towards your own qualities and quirks and things that you see in other people that you love them for. It's really something, it's inspired by you, it's inside you already, and someone else is just bringing it out. It's just redirecting that love that has nowhere to go for the time being, redirecting it back into yourself. And when you really love yourself, you have clear boundaries, you have clear expectations, and you're able to really love somebody selflessly, because you're not asking for love in return, you're just sharing the love that you already have with that person. And I think that's a lesson for both of you right now, is working on some self-love, and that takes separation to do, I think. It did in my experience. It took a lot of separation from people for me to really find self-love, because I had no choice. There was no one else to love me, so I had to learn how to love myself. So maybe show your love to yourself. Find something to do to really show your own love to yourself, if not the other person. Find a way to express love towards yourself. That's something lovely and delightful, that boosts the beauty in your life. And the moment you've been waiting for is coming. It's just going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of work on yourself. But yeah, big chapter closing here. So there is a lot of hope and a fresh start on the other side, new opportunities. So I'm excited for you, and I hope this helped. I know it's really long, so sorry about that. Hope you get through it. I'm a little tired, so I'm talking kind of slow. But yeah, that's kind of my take on the situation, and I hope that helps you, or I hope that resonates. And I hope you're having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. Love you so much. Hope everything is doing better for you these days, and I hope that it's on the way up, and that you're happy and well, and taking care of yourself. So, all right, take care. Bye-bye.